Welcome to the Florence Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. It's a beautiful spring day here in Florence. My name is Nin Babo, and it's my pleasure to be your service leader today. Let us begin, as we traditionally do, with one of my favorite songs, Spirit of Life. It's recorded by Jeff Lovejoy, and I'm joined by the Foof Singers.
Everyone in the room.
Now for our announcements. We have our Zoom happy hour gathering tonight at 5 o'clock. The invitation is in your e-blast. Click on it and join us. We suspect Ruth Miller is going to join us, and she'll help you understand give you a deeper understanding of the message that she's sharing with us today, titled Commitment. So join us at 5 o'clock. Catherine Hernandez will be our host. Next week, we have Reverend Elizabeth Mount with us, perhaps in person, on the 19th, to pre-record their message with a live audience. The title of the sermon is this transient or permanent? If you want to be part of the live recording, be here at FUFET on Friday the 19th at 11 a.m. We've scheduled our annual celebration and vision planning on April 17th. We'll be doing a virtual presentation as well as an in-person one, so stay tuned. Finally, you can follow us today with our service order in the e-blast. Is there any other announcements? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to thank everyone that has participated in our care committee calling at times, especially this last year when we really had to call and couldn't see anyone except for maybe delivering medicine or groceries or something like that. It's been amazing. And right now, we have Karen Cooper and Xana Robertson doing the calls besides myself. And here's the announcement, here's the request, let's say. To make a really functional care committee, we need about 2 more people who are willing to take about 20 members of the community. Mostly you're just listening, it's not really socializing, although that's part of it, but it's listening to the person that you're calling, making sure they're okay, not too isolated. So if you have an interest in that and you're willing to do it and have the time, my number is on the website. And please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, Catherine.
May I do that?
Yes.
So in running around in between things, I continue to be very much involved in Precious Plastics Florence. And we have finally got a regular process going. So on second Saturday afternoons, like tomorrow, or the 13th of this month, and then the 27th, and then the second Saturdays, at 1 to 4, you can bring your clean, recycled, label-free plastics. We have a shredder, we have an extruder, we have all kinds of wonderful things we can do with it. You can help shred it, you can learn how to make things, or you can say, would you take it, please? We'll be glad to take it. Second Saturday, or the odd-numbered Saturdays, they're good. The odd-numbered Saturdays, 1 to 4 p.m. through May. Thanks. Where? Oh yeah, that. We're in the makerspace, the Florence makerspace, which is in the parking lot. It's in the warehouse district where Laurel comes off of 17th, Laurel and 17th meet. Birch's Roofing is there, the karate place is there, George's Electric Shop building is on the back of that lot, and it's behind, you know where the barber shop is on Kingwood? It's behind there. So we're back into there, the big sign, Florence Makerspace. We'll probably have the garage door open when we're there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Is there anyone else? Okay, so then it's time for our chalice lighting. Catherine, would you come up? And while Catherine lights the chalice, I'm going to read some words that I created. It's called hearth, home, hearth, hearth, heart, and home. Over the ages, the fire's warmth kindles the memory of hearth, heart, and home. The hearth is a safe place, a sanctuary where you find warmth when it's cold. Foof is like a hearth, offering you a safe place, a comfortable sanctuary in troubled times. The light of the fire warms the heart like the joys of friendship we share with each other. All this is in the lighting of the candle, a reminder of the warmth we share in our homes, watching as we gather in loving community. Catherine, would you like to come up and do the joys and sorrows? Joys and concerns.
Good morning again. This is the part of our ceremony that we do joys and concerns. We do this to remind ourselves that we are all one and that we love each other and we are there for each other. That's part of what we do when we call people. And I encourage you to call each other. Just check in, just to hear the other's voice and have another's voice hear you. Today I have a couple of newsworthy things, and this is a joy. Janet Vincent, you remember her, she's a member of our community. She was moving around and couldn't quite find a place to settle, and she finally moved to Texas. She called me to tell me. She was able to take her 2 cats, which is something she really, really needed. And one of the most interesting things of moving to Texas, that she had an experience of accepting everyone, people with opposing political views, that she was very on one side and couldn't see the humanity of the other. But something, an epiphany has happened for her. And she has been able to accept them and as who they are, beings, you know, loving beings from the source. And that was important to her, and she wanted us to know that. The second I have is, let's see here. Oh, Mary James, continued prayers for Mary James and her process that she's going through and her recovery process. She has helped so many people, as Brooke mentioned last week. She's helped so many people in Florence and everywhere else she's been in her life. And so now we can send her all the love that we can focus on her. And Lori Fox, Remember Lori last year had quite an issue, ended up in the hospital suddenly, and we didn't know about it until, until kind of afterward. But she's also been going through something, but she's recovering now. So the prayers definitely for her. She's been through a lot of physical challenges, and if you feel like calling her and you know her, please do. And one mention. I think there was something, I didn't watch it yet, but I will, on Bruce Yelly. They had him on radio, something he was talking about, death with dignity. So he lives on in our little community. Thank you.
This is a shell for all of our fellowship and all of the people on our planet. They may have all that they need to be healthy and happy and connected and peaceful and loving. Blessed be.
Now, I invite Brooke to come up and share the reflective reading. It is number 580 in the hymnal. It's called The Task of the Religious Community.
Hello, everybody. So this is by Mark Morrison Reed. The central task of our fellowship is to unveil the bonds that bind each to all. There is a connectedness, a relationship discovered amid the particulars of our own lives and the lives of others. Once felt, it inspires us to act for justice. It is the fellowship that assures us that we are not struggling for justice on our own, but as members of a larger community. The fellowship is essential, for alone our vision is too narrow to see all that must be seen, and our strength too limited to do all that must be done. Together, our vision widens and our strength is renewed. Blessed be. And we are now going to hear a UUA YouTube musical interlude entitled The Fire of Commitment. Enjoy.
Of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we
us her wisdom on the subject of commitment. Are we committed? What does it mean to be committed? What's the difference between being committed to an institution, to a committee, to being a person who is committed to an idea or a goal? From the Latin root of with and send, this word has come to mean many different things in our culture. Dr. Ruth will explore with us the implications of our commitments here on how does it affect our health and our well-being. Dr. Ruth.
Okay. Your mask. Oh my, thank you. That was sweet. Someone has put these little tiles here. They've never been here before. Wholeness, prosperity, joy, and love. And I want to read the joy as J. Thank you, Jay. Oh my goodness. Such a delight to be here. And again, this just intrigues me. I think that, you and Steve, Catherine, have done a marvelous thing here. Commitment. Many of us have grown up in a generation that was avoiding commitment most of our lives. And in fact, that was the biggest deal when I was dating, these men who were avoiding commitment. They didn't want to even say, I love you, because then they'd be committed to something. And isn't that interesting? And then we say that, someone who has been adjudicated has committed a crime. And then there are the people who deserve to be committed to an institution, right? How many different ways can we use a single word? So I've been playing with this. This is the theme of the month for the folks that are, the UUA congregations that are following the Soul Matters curriculum, commitment. And there are all kinds of ways we can play with this as we consider what we are doing as part of the fellowship, what the fellowship stands for in the community, and there's that come again, and what it is that we are doing in our lives. What are we committed to bringing forth in our worlds and in our lives? I had an interesting experience. I do a little online meditation group, and one of the members on Thursday was being really frustrated because the world around her is setting all these rules, and they're saying, you can't go there if you haven't been inoculated. You can't meet with these people if you haven't had the vaccine. And she was feeling really imposed on by these rules. And as I explored it with her later, one of the things that I became aware of is that in the world of Unitarians, we are very committed to exploring and asking the value of whatever the world around us is telling us to do. And one of my friends has a little website, he calls it idon'tdorules.com. And in it, he looks at each of the things we are told we must do, or that are culturally accepted norms. And he goes, really? Why would we do that? And sometimes he ends up agreeing to do it. But it's from an inner process. And I'm thinking, how wonderfully Unitarian Universalist he is being. When we are committed to something, we are saying that I will do this regardless of all the stuff that comes up, all the emotions, all the things from the outside, the objections or the hurdles or the apparent blocks in my life. I am committed to do this, to be this, to experience this. And I will do it. It is my fulfillment, it is my intention, it is my desire. Unless something comes up that convinces me otherwise. The word commit, committere. Com is from the Latin cum, meaning with, and mittere is from the Latin meaning send, to send. To commit is to send with. Now, how can I be committed to doing something, or how can I be committed to a fellowship when the word means to send with? Originally, in the Old English, it was the word that was used when a delegate was sent with the king's pronouncement. I commit you to tell them and make this happen. Okay? I am sending with you my pronouncement. And then, as life unfolded and it became part of our culture to institutionalize those who really didn't fit and we didn't know how to take care of, we would send them to that institution with an order that they were stuck there until someone else sent another order saying they were free. So they were committed to that institution. And that's how we got all the way around to, if I'm committed, I'm stuck. Right? And that's why it is that young men, especially in the baby boomer generation and a couple generations since, have gone, I'm not committing, no way, I am not getting stuck. I want my freedom, I want to fly, I want to be able to explore and discover. One congregation that I was in had this couple that had been together off and on for quite a while. And she was asking for a commitment, and he was going, I'm not ready. And I went, I understand. So tell me, of all the women that you have met and known and spent time with, who would you want to be with when you're aging in those last few decades that you're on the planet? Who would you feel most comfortable with? Who could you rely on most? Who would you most enjoy being with? And he pointed to the woman sitting next to him. And I said, so really, yeah, what's the problem here, right? Well, they went through a few more weeks and months, and of course, it didn't take long before he went, oh, yeah, I guess that is really what I want in my life. I want to be with her. I want to relax and feel comfortable and cared for with this woman. And so I am willing to commit to only focus on her, to share my life with her, and not be constantly looking if there's someone else out there who would be better. Wow. So what are the bases on which we commit ourselves, send ourselves with? What orders are we giving ourselves when we make a commitment? You know, when we join something, a fellowship like this, and we fill out those little pledge cards, we are making a commitment, we are sending with. And I like to think that what we are sending with that card is our heart's intention. That when we commit, we are actually saying, my heart and soul are going with this. It's no longer that some higher up authority is sending someone out with an announcement, with a pronouncement, with a declaration. But instead, I like to think that when I say, yes, I will join you, or yes, I will send you this money on a regular basis, or yes, I will be there at 4 o'clock on Friday, or here at 11 o'clock on Friday, that what I am saying is in my heart and soul, I am aligned with what is happening at that time. And I will allow the universe to make it easy for me to be there. I will not put up any resistance to it in my emotions or in my memories. And therefore, it will be easy to be there. Yeah. Or when I say, I really would like to spend, some time. Well, when I felt the need to be with my daughter when she was going through what looked like it was going to be a terrible emergency, almost exactly a year ago, you guys, it's been a year. Wow. I knew, even though I felt a strong commitment to be here, I knew that I would not be able to bring my heart and soul here while my daughter and her children were going through what they were going to be going through. I couldn't do that, and you all were wonderful. a year ago in understanding that and supporting me in that. My commitment has to be the heart and soul of me. It can't just be an intellectual agreement. And that's part of why in the UUA, when we sign an agreement, we call it a covenant. We don't call it a contract. It's a covenant. Isn't that interesting? Covenant is a whole nother way of thinking, and it comes from a word that is not very highly thought of in Christianity, the word coven, which is related to the Latin word convene, which is again that C-O-N, for C-U-O-M from C-U-M, with, and venire, come together. A covenant is a coming together. And again, it's heart and soul coming together, not just words and minds. So covenant is like the next stage. If you can think of it as contract, that's a legal agreement. A commitment is all right now I'm fully in this, I'm fully moving with it. And a covenant is, and yeah, I'm taking my whole, not only my heart and soul and being, this is a spiritual thing too. That wholeness of me is coming into that. And a covenant then allows me to go, all right, this is a spiritual agreement. This is something that needs to be honored at every level. And what happened when I was feeling physically called to be with my daughter and her children, my heart and my spirit were still connected with you. I never felt totally separated from you. And so I was really pleased when I heard that there was an opening for me to continue to be, in some degree, supportive of what you're doing here. And I thank you all for that. So, commitment. There's another piece of that, meant. Okay, we have the verb commit, and we've added meant. Mentus in Latin means it is accomplished, it is done, it is full. And interestingly, it comes from the word menta, which is mind. So there is a mental component of commitment. And that is, my mind is in alignment. As I said before, I'm not going to allow thoughts or feelings get in the way of what it is that I have committed myself to. I'm going to move forward with it. And I will allow the universe, I will not block what the universe might possibly offer as alternatives and ways to get here. I will allow it. So commitment means the sending with is accomplished, and it is accomplished because body, mind, soul, and ultimately, in the covenant especially, the commitment is involving all of those. The spirit, the body, the mind, the heart, the soul, we're all in alignment. Commitment, so much more than just sending with, even though that is the root of the word. Now there is that other way that we use it, and that is someone has committed something. They've committed a crime, or they've committed a good deed, or they've done something that is contrary or in alignment with, and we don't ever know what it is. Isn't that interesting? And it's the derivation, it's the level after level after level, if you will, of use that says it's done, it's accomplished, it's been done. The commitment is it's done. It's done. So when it's committing something, one is making it done, whatever it is. It's a little different use, but we don't have another English word for that, so that's what got adopted, is committing something. If we think of our lives, and we think of the various commitments we have made, whether it's in a marriage, or in a family, or in an organization, or in a job, or in a fellowship like this, or in our spiritual journey, we can see the times that those commitments were lightly made and may not possibly have been fully made, right? And we can think of times that we felt that full alignment. Yes, I am committed. There is no question here. There's no doubt in my mind. There is no possibility of anything else but this happening. And when we say I am committed, we're saying the commitment is, the doing has already happened, whether I can see it in the real world or not. And that allows us to be thinking about what Plato called the realm of the ideal, what David Bohm, the physicist, called the realm of the implicate order. When I am committed, when I say fully and completely, I am committed, that means that in the realm of the implicate order, in the realm of the ideal, it has already happened. And now I get to allow it to become my experience. If I am focusing on a way of thinking and feeling and being that is in alignment with my well-being and the well-being of the whole, that is very easy. The whole universe is working with us because the well-being of the whole is the design of the universe. It is the implicate order. But if I have made a commitment to ideas that are not healing and healthy and whole for myself and to other beings, then there's an interesting thing that happens. And it may start out in my mind, but most of the times it shows up in our bodies first. Our bodies are suddenly not behaving in alignment with well-being. We start getting little aches and pains and maybe a headache here, or maybe a belly problem there, or whatever. Or if we have a weak part of our body, it starts complaining at us, okay? So if I am making a commitment, if I'm saying I'm committed to doing that and my body begins to object, I need to double check. Or if I'm allowing a lot of other ideas to guide and determine where I am focusing my attention and what I'm creating and what I am doing, my body will tell me that, and so will everybody else's bodies tell them that. There's a wonderful line that Emma Curtis Hopkins says, and she talks about indecision. But it's the same thing. If we've made a choice in a direction that does not serve the well-being of the whole, if we've started to commit ourselves, or if we've made that light commitment up there and it's not in alignment with ourselves, our true selves, she says, if we've aligned our will with someone else's will rather than the true will that's trying to express itself in and as and through us, that is always expressing itself whether we pick it up or not. If we do that, then we will feel moments of indecision, and we will feel in our bodies that discomfort, that disconnect. So as we look at the world around us, and we're living in a culture where drama has become a very important part of everything, including the daily news, perhaps we are being unconsciously becoming committed to a way of thinking and being that is not in alignment with our well-being and the well-being of the whole. So a really important thing to be aware of is, where is my conscious and not necessarily fully conscious commitment? Am I focusing on this personality on TV or this set of stories in the movies or the set of stories in the novels I'm reading that are describing a world that is not in alignment with everybody's well-being? Is that my commitment? Or am I willing to put those aside and take a look at what is truly in alignment? And what I have learned in my own life and in many lives as I've observed them over the years is that when we can put aside our attachments to those unconsciously made commitments to drama, distress, fear, worry, and all those other that are now called perseverative negative thought patterns. When I can put aside my commitment to that and fill the vacuum with joyful, loving, serving, sharing, enjoying, effortless unfolding of possibilities, it's a funny thing. The symptoms all go away. And the body and mind and heart and soul are beginning to fall back into alignment. And I discover what it is that this being came to this planet committed to be and do. Yes. And that is what every one of us is truly aiming for and longing for. And whenever we're feeling a little discontent or a disconnect, that's what it is. Somehow I got pulled into these commitments over here when this is who and what I am. This is what I'm here to be and do for my own well-being, and so for the well-being of the whole. I am here that we all may flourish, may all thrive, may all live a life of joy and peace and harmony through every thought and word and feeling and action that comes from those. This is what we were committed. This is what we were sent with as we came into form. And this is what we are called to be. And I am so blessed to be surrounded by people who are open to this way of thinking. And I thank you. Have a wonderful spring.
Thank you, Ruth. Our offering today comes in the usual two parts. First is our request for your contribution to our fellowship as we continue our lives together, virtually now and then later in person. Your financial support means so very much to us. It tells us you care about our future. You care enough to prepare to open our front door for those who want to experience what we have, community. We're a congregation of wonderful people who care about each other and wish to extend this caring to the people we have not yet met. And your contributions will help us along the way. The second part is for our partners, Food Share, who provide food for people and pets in our community. At any convenient time, you can submit your offerings to FOOF and make a donation to Food Share. You can send it to Post Office Box 2502, Florence 97439. Or you can click the donation button on our website. You can designate how much you wish to contribute to FOOF and how much should go to our Food Share. And we'll take care of the rest. As we move forward with our offertory, please repeat after me. Divine love through me.
Divine love through me.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
Blesses and multiplies all that I am.
All that I give.
All that I give.
And all that I receive.
And all that I receive.
I am prosperous now.
I am prosperous now.
Blessed be.
Blessed be.
Please know that your contributions and donations are received in grateful appreciation. Now we're ready to extinguish our chalice. Thank you. you, Catherine. And as she does, I've written something called Foof's Commitment. As we extinguish this candle, know that our commitments to you continue to shine brightly. Our commitment to share inspiring words, share the warmth of a caring community, continue to be a sanctuary where you can grow and change and continue on the path of being a light in the world. As we close today, I would like to leave you with the words of June Jordan, an African-American poet, activist, essayist, and teacher. And she said, in addition to the traditional concept of true commitment, that means you're willing to die for what you think is right, make equal space for the womanly concept of commitment. That means you're willing to live for what you believe. And this brings us to a closing hymn, the peace song, played by Tuvi Achai and sung by all of the Foof singers here.